Thanks, Adrian. Good evening, everyone. And yes, it is a big night for both clubs. There is a gloom at West Ham, even despite everything that's been achieved under David Moyes. Their fantastic finish to 2023 has been followed by a very poor new year so far, while Brentford have slipped a place closer to the drop zone after Everton's points deduction was reduced earlier today. Thomas Frank's team are very much in a relegation fight, but against a team who they've beaten every single time they've come up against them in the Premier League in West Ham. Is this the night things start to turn for Brentford? These are the teams. Areola is the West Ham goalkeeper. Soufal, Zuma, Mavropanos and Emerson. Souček and Alvarez. Paquetá back from injury. Ward-Prowse and Kudus behind Bowen. For Brentford, Flecken in goal. Zanka, Ayer and me the defenders. Lewis Potter and Reggie on the wing-backs. Norgard, Onyeka and Jensen in midfield. Tony and Mopé up front. In the fifth round of the FA Cup, Coventry lead Maidstone of the National League South by a goal to nil. That for a place in the quarter-finals. And there's live commentary right now on TalkSport 2. Ellis Sims has got that goal. They kicks off about 15 minutes later than we will do. Just having a look around, Danny Murphy, there are empty seats here at London Stadium. It's not full as it so often has been, certainly earlier in the season, and David Moyes really needs a result to just lift the gloom around the place.
Oh, he does, absolutely. I mean, I think it can be forgiven. There's a few empty seats in a stadium this big. Haven't won in 9 games, but the relevance of the first goal, I think, tonight is key. To get the crowd on side, to get them with you on every tackle, and everything you do that's positive comes if you get the first goal. If you concede the first goal, every bad pass or every backwards pass or sideways pass is moaned and groaned and the pressure builds. So first 10-15 minutes of the game, I'm fascinated by West Ham's attitude, their tactics, whether they just play normally or whether they make a conscious decision to really go after the Brentford in the early part of this game to get the fans on board.
Will they have a zip from the start? West Ham United, the bubbles still flying through the sky. The West Ham fans in good voice here, and David Moyes and Thomas Frank both standing on the edge of their respective technical areas. This huge claret carpet between the dugouts and the field of play, and Brentford get game night off and underway, live and exclusive here on TalkSport. And Brentford in the change kit this evening, the sky blue shirts, dark blue shorts and sky blue socks, and West Ham United in their familiar claret and sky blue. Early ball from Ayer, back to the goalkeeper Mark Flecken, all in bright pink away to the right hand side. Brentford playing from right to left and West Ham from left to right, so the home team attacking the Sir Trevor Brooking stand in the first half. Souček's ball through the middle of midfield, intercepted by Ayer just shy of the halfway line, out to the right, and Zanka, who stabs the ball high up into the air beyond the head of Neil Mopé, and then Zuma with a horribly sliced clearance right up into the dark night sky. Mavropanos gets a touch on it. Nervy start for West Ham, and eventually Mavropanos boots it over halfway and away from danger.
I think we'll see a bit of that. I think we'll see a few nerves from the West Ham players, that anxiety early on in the game because of the pressure that's been mounting around the manager, fans coming here disgruntled. Just got to calm yourself, take a few touches, get some passes in.
No wins in their last 8 in all competitions for West Ham. They last went 9 successive games without a win, way back in 2011. Here is me for Brentford, who are perilously close to the relegation zone, and Reguilon has been caught in possession by Kudus. Kudus caught on the penalty area for West Ham. Across comes Jensen for Brentford. Reguilon makes a half tackle, and then Kudus trying to curl it into the far corner. Got a horrible slice on that, and it veers all the way out of play for a Brentford throw in their right back position, early stages.
He did all right to create the chance, Kudus. It's worth a go. Not his best strike in the world, but definitely worth a go early on.
And he's a player of great quality, as we've seen so far this season. 10 goals for the campaign for the former Ajax man, and Lucas Paquetá being back in the West Ham side tonight, I think is massive for them, Danny.
Absolutely. Their most creative source, really. Aidan and I were talking earlier, he's got this confidence in his play and that strut and that belief in himself that not too many players have when things aren't going your way as a team. He's certainly not going to hide. He'll want the ball and he'll get on it and he'll try his tricks and he'll try his passes. He won't worry about making mistakes.
West Ham have possession now with Emerson raiding down the far side of the left. Emerson bursts into the box, cuts it back towards Bowen. Jensen was there to clear it away before it could reach the West Ham top scorer, and he steers it out of play for a West Ham throw on the far side of the field. They take it quickly. Opportunity for the ball to be played back to Alvarez, who then steers it wide to the far side, and Emerson again. 2.5 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Brentford 0. West Ham go back to the halfway line, and Coventry have made a flying start to their FA Cup 5th round tie against the non-leaguers Maidstone. Coventry 2, Maidstone 0. Ellis Sims with his second. Here is Kudus for West Ham again. No way through beyond Jensen once more. The ball drops in the middle of the Brentford half. It's floated to the left by Paquetá. Chested down by Bowen. The West Ham fans get to their feet in front of us. Bowen trying to wriggle beyond Reguilon. Down by the dead ball line. Back to Sofal. It's floated cross, and then Souček turns it over the top from 6 yards out. He should have scored.
Well, that's what he's in the team for. One of the best in the Premier League attacking crosses. It's Ward-Prowse actually, I think gets the first header. Doesn't quite get enough contact on it. Comes to Souček on the half volley and he just leans back from 5-6 yards out. Keeper stranded. He's angry with himself. He's kicking the post. Nice positive start though, you can hear from the supporters. That's what they wanted.
Roar around London Stadium. Thomas Souček, as you say, Danny, it's those late runs from deep, isn't it? Times it so well inside the penalty area.
He does. It's interesting, we're talking earlier about how wrong we are. Football back four for Brentford. Zanka at right back.
As West Ham win the ball back. Midway inside the Brentford half. All West Ham inside the opening 4 minutes of the game. Lovely ball by Ward-Prowse out to the left. It's pulled back to Bowen. Bowen's shot is in! He drove it early beyond the goalkeeper, and Flecken couldn't keep it out. And what a start for West Ham United on an evening where David Moyes really needs a win, and it's their top scorer, Jarrod Bowen. Who else to blast them in front from inside the penalty area? West Ham 1, Brentford 0.
It's a superb finish. Technically beautiful. Good touch, set himself lovely. Poor play from Brentford, too easy. Trying to play out, turnover. The ball ends up coming out to Emerson on the left-hand side. Lewis Potter's got to do better. Pulls it back, one touch from Bowen. What a strike that is. On that favoured left foot. The one in a foul there, doesn't look like a foul from Alvarez on Onyeka to me. Looked like a good tackle. It's a good pullback from Emerson, and that strike from Bowen. Near post, maybe the keeper thinks he's going far.
And Bowen found the edge of the post on its way beyond Mark Flecken, and West Ham lead by a goal to 0. And for Bowen, his 15th goal of the season so far, his first of 2024. You might remember he scored just before Christmas here in the victory over Manchester United, and didn't they end 2023 so well, West Ham? But Bowen is back in business, so are West Ham, and that will start to lift some of the gloom in East London.
Well, actually, we're fortunate we get the replays. It wasn't technically brilliant. It was a snapshot which he cut across a little bit. I don't think he meant to put it there, but it was still opportunist effort. Why not? It looked like a really crisp strike when we saw it live, but getting to see the replay, he just cuts across it a little bit and sneaks in at the near post. But why not have a go in those first few minutes? You never know what's going to happen. Gives them that lift. The crowd are up now. Everyone will want the ball.
West Ham will take any sort of goal in terms of the losing run that they've been on of late, but they are all over Brentford here. Bowen darting up the middle, and he's got Kudus to his right. Kudus on the edge of the penalty area, waits for the run of Sofal. Sofal pulls it back. Bowen is there again. He's scored 2 in 2 minutes. This is unbelievable. Jarrod Bowen timed his run to perfection, and 6.5 minutes in, he's on a hat-trick already. Brentford haven't got started. West Ham 2, Brentford 0.
Brentford all over the place. They don't know what they're doing. That new system, they do not know what they are doing. No point doing a huddle now. Brentford players getting together in the middle of the pitch, having a word. There's people running off people. They don't look like they know what zone they're in. I mean, they give the ball away again themselves. But once Bowen gets it, he's at them quick. Comes out to Kudus, gets the overlap. Again, the fullback Both fullbacks have created the 2 goals from overloads. Puts it on a play for Bowen. He's not missing that from 6 yards, 7 yards out. Pull back from Soufal. It's the system. The system for Brentford is causing chaos because they don't know who's running where and who's tracking who.
Well, we thought, didn't we, Danny, before the game they were going to operate with wing-backs. That is not the case, as you said, a couple of minutes into the game, but they're already 2-0 down as Tony tries to flick the ball into the path of Mopé at the other end of the field, but then a miscue by Jensen in midfield, and Ward-Prowse looking to seize upon that. Jensen got across his man. Brentford playing from right to left in their blue change kit, win it back, and then a sweeping ball to Reguilon on the near side there left. I can see Thomas Frank standing alone inside his technical area. He must be wondering what on earth is going on.
Well, he's partly to blame.
Well, he sets the team up, as you say.
Yeah. Don't look like they know what they're doing. Well, Lewis Potter wide right. Reguilon's sometimes a left back, sometimes a left wing. It's lopsided. It's a bizarre one.
And Lewis Potter's found on Onyeka down by the corner flag on the far side of the field, and Souček gets a tackle in, and the ball takes a double deflection. Last touch off the West Ham man, and that'll be a Brentford throw deep inside opposition territory on the far side of the field. And Zanka's made his way into the penalty area. Aya will come forward likewise as Jensen comes across to take the throw on that far side, the Brentford right. But they're already 2-0 down, and I suppose the only crumb of comfort for them is that it's still early enough in the game that maybe they can get themselves back into it, but no sign of that at the moment. They're being run ragged. Long throw into the penalty area by Jensen towards the near post, headed away, drops down to the edge of the box, and Reguilon, who takes it off the toes of Lewis Potter, whipped in by Jensen. Goalkeeper Areola dropped it initially, but then gathers the ball in front of Norgard at the second attempt. West Ham 2, Brentford 0, 9 minutes gone on Talk Sport, and Danny Murphy, David Moyes could not have dreamt of a better start.
Perfect. He'll be absolutely delighted. The quality, the application, belief in themselves to go and do it. It's all well and good talking about it in the dressing room. Sometimes you say the right things, but you don't have the belief in yourself to do it. But you know what? Football is basics. If you let your fullbacks run in behind you and then have free crosses of the ball, you're done.
Well, early ball by Paquetá into the penalty area, high towards the penalty spot, gathered by Flecken, who got there well above Jared Bowen to take it high inside the penalty area. And Brentford have possession now with Norgard midway inside his own half of the field. It's a busy week of football on the TalkSport network. FA Cup football tonight. Coventry 2, Maidstone 0 live right now on TalkSport 2. Blackburn against Newcastle tomorrow. Luton against Manchester City. And then Wednesday, Chelsea against Leeds, Forest against Manchester United, but with the Lionesses tomorrow night as well. England against Italy on TalkSport 2, and lots more to come across the weekend as well.
I always think it's a problem when you watch a team set up and you can't even work out what they're trying to do or how they're trying to play. Zanka looks like he's lost right back and then tucking in when they've got the ball and trying to be a three. And when they're attacking, they've got no left winger. Reguilon's going up there to try and be left winger, but they want him back as a left back when they haven't got the ball. It's bizarre.
It's an unbalanced, it was the right word, lopsided formation, isn't it, at the moment? Yeah. And Thomas Frank is in conversation, deep in conversation with his trusted assistant Klaus Norgard, and already working out how to try and get Brentford back into this London derby. They have never lost to West Ham. They've beaten them in all 5 previous meetings in the Premier League, but they are 2-0 down inside 11 minutes.
Well, if he doesn't change this system, they'll lose this game.
It's been a shambolic start from the West London club, who are very much ensconced in the relegation battle. Tony looking to burst down the right though for them. He reaches the dead ball line, does Tony, pulls it back towards the penalty spot. Cleared away by Zuma, not convincingly. Back into the area by Norgard, the flick by Reguilon. Towering header away by Souček, who, remember, should have scored before Bowen put West Ham into the lead. So it's been from minute 1. Brentford have been on the back foot, and a downward header straight out of play by Aya. And David Moyes wants West Ham to take the throw quickly. I think he feels here, Danny, they can get this one.
It's there for the taking. It is.
You can get it one inside 15-20 minutes maybe. That's the way the pattern of the game is going so far. Beneath the floodlights here in East London, this vast expanse of a stadium where we're sat a long way back from the pitch. Here is Soufal, who set up the second on the halfway line. Forward to Alvarez, in between the lines, and then Alvarez waited for the run of Soufal, who didn't go down the right, out of play for a Brentford throw. And Brentford with me, all the way back to goalkeeper Flecken, whose performances have improved greatly of late in goal, though had no chance with the first 2 goals. Flecken just hammers the ball downfield, more in hope than expectation. Zuma there on the cover in front of Tony, though he did have a head start. Tony's got it back for Brentford. Clever step on the ball, a lovely pass forward towards Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter through to Mope on the stretch, and he's found the net. And Brentford do have a route back into it with their first effort on goal. And Neil Mope continues his fine record on this ground. And Brentford do, out of nothing, have a foothold. What a start! 12 and a half minutes gone. West Ham 2, Brentford 1.
Well, it's brilliant play from Onyeka, and Tony again, nice and calm, picks the pass. Lewis Potter picks the pass from Mopai as well after he receives it from Tony. It's a good finish. He'll shut me up. We have a little joke about him before, but he is on fire at the minute, the boy. He just slides and manages by hook or by crook to get it over the keeper. I'm not sure he means it. Maybe he does. Super little finish if he did.
He stretches for it, doesn't he? And it ends up via his instep into the roof of the net.
Yeah, it's a good move. Brentford's best move. It's their only move.
And Tony was at the heart of it. Forward by Reguilon up to Tony, who's laid it off beautifully towards Mope. Mope had Onyeka making a run in front of him, and across came Mavropanos to clear away for West Ham. Well, amazing how the complexion of the game has suddenly changed. We were speaking in terms of West Ham looking for the third that would have virtually wrapped things up, but now it's West Ham 2, Brentford 1, and their defences are absent early on here.
Yeah, I mean that's Moyes will be fuming because that's their first attack.
Yep.
Although it was a good move, you know, they've lost the second ball, which is not something he likes as well. No manager likes.
And now Lewis Potter darts down the right, out-muscled by Paquetá. Firm but fair challenge. And Paquetá infield toward Prowse, who pops it back to the left-back position in Emerson, who's immediately under pressure from the tenacious Lewis Potter, formerly of Hull City. Out of play it goes for a West Ham throw. Left-back spot, far side of the field, a long way from where we're sitting here.
See, what I'm struggling to understand, Joe, I know we keep going on about the tactics, but if Soufal's bombing forward and Reguilon's got to cope with Kudus, it's a 2v1 every time.
Yep.
On the other side, you've got Lewis Potter who's supposed to come back with Emerson, which is fine because it means Zanka then can concentrate on picking up Paquetá, whoever goes on that left-hand side. But because of the lopsidedness, it creates a problem on this left side. That Reguilon's the only player playing on the left for Brentford.
And here comes Tony on the Brentford right, corner of the penalty area, trying to play it into the box. It's steered away by Souček, only as far as the edge of the area once more. Norgard dinks it to his right, and Lewis Potter, who floats in the cross. Up goes Reguilon, who couldn't really jump as high as he wanted to. Wow. But then he was surely shoved over by Kudus as he retreated to try and keep it in play. The referee is surrounded by Brentford players, but Simon Hooper says no free kick, and that was right on the edge of the box as well.
I mean, that's ridiculous. It's pushed him in the back.
Tell you what, and that is very close to the penalty area too. That is inside the 18-yard box, and Kudus...
Surely VAR have got to have a look, no?
They have to. Shove in the back of
Well, I don't
Reguilon.
think they are. Look, he said play on.
Well, Michael Oliver is the video assistant referee who will have looked at that as it was happening, and he's decided that...
Well, he can only decide it's outside the box, otherwise he'd have had to intervene. It's a blatant free kick.
On Reguilon. West Ham 2, Brentford 1. A storming start to the London derby on Talk Sport. 15 and a half minutes played.
I don't know if anyone expected this.
I didn't.
I mean, someone said before, I can't think who it was now, the other game, reverse fixture was 3-2. Don't think we're going to see that tonight, is what I heard earlier. We've got a hell of a chance.
Well, usually when teams are on losing runs, the likes of which West Ham and Brentford have both been on, you think about keeping it tight. Not so early on here. Soufal down the near side, the right for West Ham. Again, the crowd in front of us in the lower tier of the seats get to their feet. Kudus back to Soufal on the near side, the right. He skips beyond Jensen too easily. Cross towards Souček, and at the far post is Paquetá. Well, it did bounce up slightly in front of him, but the Brazilian should keep that on target. He steered it miles high up into the dark night sky and behind for a goal kick.
Well, Soufal again, we just talked about it. He's got oceans of space because Ben Mee doesn't want to come out of his position. If Reguilon's going to go and play high when they got ball, when there's a turnover, Ben Mee has to come across and be left back. Has to be.
And Jensen should surely do better as well in that challenge. As Flecken plays the ball straight out to the left wing back position, and Reguilon again. West Ham get a throw on the Brentford get a throw on the halfway line. Mope with his quick feet scampers away from Ward-Prowse, but then a poor ball cross field, straight to the feet of Paquetá. So for Neil Maupay, that is goals in each of his 3 previous appearances now at London Stadium, if you include tonight. He scored twice on this ground for Brighton and once tonight for Brentford to get them back into the game. Alvarez struts over halfway for West Ham, feeds Bowen, who's on a hat-trick inside 18 minutes. Bowen plays it backwards towards Emerson now. Emerson drifts infield away from Onyeka, and then he's blocked off by Norgard, who races across to whip it off his toes. Tony, and then Maupay back to Norgard inside the centre circle. Lovely way to pass forward to Lewis Potter, who's got beyond Emerson. He's down the far side to right. He nudges it back in field to Tony. The pace of the attack has slowed somewhat. Tony tracked all the way by James Ward-Prowse, and Tony back to Zanka.
It's the right decision on that breakaway from Lewis Potter. I know fans sometimes see someone breaking away and think, put it in the box.
Yeah.
But he had to look up. There was people hadn't joined him. They hadn't got there yet. There was no one crossing to, so come back and keep the ball. It's a good decision.
Had the right idea to play it back, and Brentford have kept possession here. Brentford certainly in possession look a totally different side to the one which began the game and was so sloppy. Bowen for West Ham, 10 yards shy of the halfway line, bundled over by Onyeka clumsily right in front of the referee, who points towards Onyeka, and it's a free kick to West Ham, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. So West Ham were 2-0 up inside 6.5 minutes, both through Jared Bowen, and then Maupay pulling one back, and so 2-1 the score on TalkSport with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like West Ham against Brentford right now, contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. West Ham have it back, and this game is ebbing and flowing, Danny Murphy.
Yeah, it's a great game. Surpassed all my expectation already.
This is what we wanted to see.
Sorry, I'm just being honest. Well, they've both been in poor form. I didn't expect what I've seen. It's high energy. They're both having a good go.
You'd expect it to be tight and tense, wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, very few chances, and we've had plenty of chances, and 3 goals already. So far scoops the ball long towards Bowen. Now then the flag is up on the near side. Bowen is offside under pressure from the giant Ayer lurking behind him. Christopher Ayer, the Norwegian, who has had a tough time of it in the last couple of seasons due to injury. Thomas Frank has gone back to sit down in the dugout. David Moyes still patrolling the near side touchline anxiously. And Brentford have the ball with Reguilon, left back position, rolls it back to Me at the heart of the back line, square ball to his central defensive colleague Ayer, who's lost out to Bowen, who wins it back with ease. Bowen then tears infield towards the edge of the box. He's hacked down by Ayer, it looked like. Well, Ayer must have got to the ball. Referee says no free kick, and then a foul from behind by Paquetá, and West Ham supporters not happy.
One each. It's good recovery, actually. Raja just took too long, dwelled on it as he's coming out from the back line. No options ahead of him, recovers. Do you know what? I think it's a foul. Goes to ground and he just catches Bowen.
Well, we get to see it again on our monitors.
We do.
Although that said, Danny, the referee's right behind the incident. He's about 5 yards away.
So what you're saying is having a stinker?
No comment, no further comment. After a weekend of strange decisions.
Like people, do you? Hey.
Here comes Kudus, down the near side, the right for West Ham. He's skipped to the edge of the D and he's whipped it high to the far post. Emerson on the volley, just wide. It was Paquetá who struck it, firmly left-footed, and Flecken dived to his right now. Would he have got there? We're not sure, but it was certainly well hit, not too far wide of the far post. Still 2-1 West Ham.
Ben Mee's all over the place. The right side for West Ham is a field day. If they keep coming down the right side, they will win this game comfortably. Ben Mee doesn't know what he's doing, whether he's coming out, staying in. Reguilon's got 2v1. You've got midfielder Jensen coming out. It's chaotic.
West Ham have won it back half the field again. Paquetá, the number 10, he went close just a couple of moments ago. Back to Alvarez in a central position with the long sleeves on to Kudus. Kudus 25 yards out, right-footed effort, flashes wide again. You could just tell the body shape and the body language of Kudus. He was eager to get the ball out of his feet and go for goal.
Reguilon had a 2v1 again, so he doesn't know whether to go and press Kudus, because Mee's keeping his position. He's playing safe, he's not helping him. Jensen has to come over again, which isn't his job. This is where the game will be lost for Brentford. They don't sort this out quick. I'm at. Do you know what? I've got me match of the day head on when I'm looking at what I'd be doing later on the show, because it's absolutely ridiculous. I can't understand why a manager would not keep seeing this and try and change it. Why did it set up that way?
Well, no sign that he's going to change it yet. You're with Game Night on TalkSport. Monday night, and we're back next Monday. Danny's going to be at Sheffield United against Arsenal this time next week.
I haven't confirmed that yet. I'm joking.
Fancy Bramall Lane?
I'm all in.
Here's Kudus down the inside the right, and there are three inside the penalty area in the claret shirts as Kudus is felled by the retreating Reguilon.
He could be off.
And that'll be a free kick on the near side the right, and a yellow card for Reguilon.
He kicked the ball away after the ref come over, so he got a yellow for the foul.
Yep.
I think he's angry, not even at the foul. He's angry because he's getting run ragged.
Well, Reguilon clattering into Kudus, who was sent sprawling, and gets the game's first yellow card, and there'll be a free kick on the near side, and of course it was Kudus on Reguilon at the other end of the field a few moments ago. And roles reversed, and West Ham have a free kick in a dangerous position, because Danny, when it's Ward-Prowse, it's always dangerous.
Yeah, he's the best set play deliverer in the Premier League, bar none.
Midway through the first half, West Ham 2, Brentford 1. London Stadium raucous with noise. It's a great atmosphere here tonight. And Ward-Prowse standing over this free kick in the right wing position. Here it comes, high towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Jensen. Not his best delivery. Bowen couldn't dart in front of Jensen in time. It's come back out wide to Kudus, who will roll the ball back as Mopé slips to the halfway line and Soufal. He belts it high crossfield to the left, nodded down by Emerson to Paquetá. Paquetá scoops it into the box. Zuma's still up there. Could drop inside the penalty area for West Ham, but it's cleared away by Reguilon instead. And now Mopé aiming to maraud towards the halfway line, and he wins the throw of Konstantinos Mavropanos. That's 8 for the season, by the way, for Mopé now after his goal earlier.
Yeah, it's good form, really good.
And he's got Brentford back into the game. A hat-trick for Ellis Sims of Coventry City. 3 for him and 3 for Coventry in the FA Cup against Maidstone United in the first half. They kicked off 15 minutes earlier than we did. That's live right now on TalkSport 2. And we've got a lot of FA Cup commentaries this week on the TalkSport network, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Make sure you download the app to stay across it all. Early ball in from Onyeka from the Brentford right, steered away by Mavropanos from the edge of the West Ham penalty area.
It was a great run from Onyeka. He broke the lines and he beat the offside trap, but Mopé couldn't get there in time.
Alvarez has got it back down by the corner of the penalty area, having to turn away from Tony, who was at his back, and then a lovely nutmeg by Emerson, trying to dart.
Not a lovely nutmeg when you lose the ball. Tell the young kids that, coach.
And Norgard has knocked it forward to Tony. Tony down by the dead ball line, eludes Souček, crosses. Zuma got a touch, stretching at the near post as Areola dived the goalkeeper to try and cut it out, and that's out of play for a Brentford corner.
I mean, with Ivan Toney in your team, you are going to cause teams problems if you keep getting him the ball, and that's what they're doing. It's without the ball I worry for Brentford. But good response from 2-0 down. Now back in this game. Got a bit of belief, a bit of confidence from their goal back.
The corner has been taken short, and Jensen whips in the cross, takes a big deflection, and out of play for a second corner in quick succession for Brentford. The first couple of corners of the game for either team. West Ham 2, Brentford 1. We're in the 26th minute here. And Reguilon, he's on loan from Tottenham, has gone across to take the corner on the far side, the right wing position, so it'll be a left-footed in-swinger. Plenty inside the 6-yard box in those sky blue shirts. It's in towards the near post and headed away by Paquetá. Out of play for a Brentford throw, the relative safety for West Ham. Of this throw being level with the edge of the 18-yard box as Jensen darts across. Ayer and Zanka have remained forward. Ben Mears at the far post as well. Jensen wipes the ball with his shirt on that far side. And certainly a 26 minutes to remember so far. Jensen has signalled that he's going to hurl this in long, and West Ham players have retreated back into the 18-yard box as you'd expect. Long throw from Jensen towards the near post. Ayer got the initial flick. Zanka was lurking, scooped away by Paquetá. It's come back to Jensen again on the corner of the penalty area. First time crossed by Keane Lewis Potter, and then through a crowd, Mavropanos diverts the ball away. Only as far as Jensen to deliver once more. On the volley, cleared by Zuma. What a great bit of quality in terms of the Brentford deliveries there, but Jensen will get another chance with this throw.
Yeah, a bit of sustained pressure.
And so can Brentford force an equaliser after what has been an incredible first half up to this point. And certainly not the open and entertaining first half that you might have expected in a game between two out-of-form sides. As Jensen wiggles away from Bowen on the far side of the right, clips in the right-footed cross, headed away bravely and importantly by Souček in front of Tony.
It's a great header.
And now it's scooped into the penalty area by Region. Mavropanos rising highest, and the flag is up this time, but certainly Brentford will feel encouragement from the performance since the goal.
Yeah, I mean, they've caused problems to West Ham when they got forward, and they are pushed because of the way they're playing, and they've got the extra man higher up. It is a problem, but they're so open when West Ham break on them, which we've seen already. You know, they could have had 3 or 4 goals. Well, 3 or 4 for sure. And it just seems a bizarre one, because it's not like West Ham are playing a system they haven't played before and shocked Brentford. They're playing the way they always play.
Familiar 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
Bowen through the middle. Antonio back on the bench tonight. No Calvin Phillips for West Ham. He's suspended. Jeff Stelling is here watching the action tonight, and he's back on TalkSport Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 with Ali McCoist. Paul Heckingbottom will be in the studio tomorrow as West Ham very nearly conspire to give the ball away. Areola's ball pass towards Zuma, but Zuma, the captain, recovers.
You see, Alvarez hadn't realised yet that the out ball is Soufal every time he gets the ball, and that's your job as a holding midfielder, to dictate play and understand where the gaps are, where's the strength. Get it to Soufal, and you've got one of those centre midfielders got to come out wide, then you get the holes.
Here is Soufal, raining down the near side the right and finding Kudus. Kudus, a couple of steps to glide down the right-hand side beyond Jensen. He's taking on Region too, gets a low cross into the penalty area, steered away and upfield by Ayer for Brentford, and then a heavy touch by Alvarez, and Brentford have a throw midway inside their own half. Right in front of our commentary position here. So West Ham 2, Brentford 1 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. Ayer for Brentford, and the ball back to his goalkeeper Flecken. Brentford fans in numbers, as you'd expect, the relatively short journey across the capital, and they're in 2 separate tiers of the stadium. Away to our right at the Sir Trevor Brooking end of the ground, lots of them on their feet, hoisted forward by me towards halfway, chested down by Mope. He couldn't find Tony initially, though Tony did brilliantly to keep the ball in there, and Region wins a throw right in front of David Moyes off Thomas Souček. Brentford have arrived in the game just under half an hour played.
Yeah, they've weathered the storm to a degree, but they're still wide open down this side. Get the ball to Ivan Toney as often as they can. Keep getting it into his feet, keep looking for him, and then let him hold it, do what he does, get his twists and turns, and then you get the runs off him.
Danny Murphy with us tonight on Game Night on TalkSport. Still delighted about yesterday.
It was a great day. It was a great day, honestly. Brought back so many wonderful memories. Turned into a fan again. Glad nobody got it on camera, that's all I can say.
I'm disappointed we didn't.
I was around a lot of Chelsea ex-players as well, so I'm not sure they were best pleased, but who cares?
Here is Lewis Potter on the halfway line for Brentford. Pops it back to Zanka, and then a nice little touch in field by Norgard to find Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter's looked quite sprightly down the right-hand side, and on Yeka, going head-to-head on that far side of the field with Alvarez, who's never reluctant to put a tackle in.
He isn't. Do you know, we talk about players playing well and what the eye sees and what fans see. He has done well going forward, Lewis Potter, and he's been energetic, and he's got himself involved in the game, but because he wasn't quite ready for the game, Emerson ran off the back of him on a turnover, 1-0 down.
Yeah.
Top flight football, switched on minute 1. Doesn't matter what you do going forward, you got to do your job defensively first and foremost.
And Brentford have given it away again, and Bowen is running at Ayer down the left-hand edge of the penalty area, held up by Ayer, and now sandwiched in between 2 blue shirts. He's still managed to play it back toward Prowse though. Well, Prowse just waited for the run infield of Emerson, touches it back a couple of yards to Paquetá. Paquetá 5 yards from the corner of the penalty area, through the gap cleverly towards Bowen. Lovely little flick to Kudus, trying to wriggle away from Ayer inside the penalty area. Ayer just stabs the ball clear, throws to West Ham down by the corner flag. They lead 2-1.
He did well, Ayer there. Nice and patient, didn't dive in, nothing stupid, try and get in front, protect the goal.
after some quite incisive and enterprising attacking play again from West Ham. And I think that the West Ham supporters will have enjoyed the football going forward that they have seen so far. And that was something that we talked about, wasn't it, Danny, before?
It was, Joe, but the reality is it's not always about the quality, it's about the intent.
Yeah.
Intensity and intent to play good stuff on the front foot is all fans generally want to see. They forgive mistakes. You know, you can't always be creative and brilliant every time you get the ball, but if you're trying to do the right things...
Well, there still may be European excitement for West Ham to come. The two-legged round of 16 tie against Freiburg, who they came up against in the group stages. And Brentford, meanwhile, desperate to get points and move away from the relegation zone. They slipped a place, of course, earlier today after Everton's points deduction was reduced from 10 to 6. So Brentford down in 16th now, 5 points clear of the bottom three. Raiding up the far side, the left, is Emerson for West Ham. He's just touched it square to his immediate left and gets it back from Paquetá. Now Ward-Prowse in an infield position, 25 yards from goal. Touches it forward to Emerson again. Emerson caught on the penalty area.
Soufal's free.
Paquetá calling for it out wide on the left. Soufal's on the edge of the box alone at the moment. Dinked in by Emerson. Kudus tries to flick it goalwards, and his header is going to drift wide. Lewis Potter doing enough in front of Paquetá to mean that he couldn't reach it.
It's sometimes hard in a game, and as you play for years and years, you see it more quickly to work out where the weakness is. What's the problem for them? Where are we getting at them today? The way Brentford are set up, as I've said many times, it's down the right hand side. Now if you can't see it on the pitch, then the coaches should be shouting on to Alvarez.
As West Ham get an advantage from the referee, Ward-Prowse has knocked it wide to Kudus. Kudus cutting onto his left foot, low shot, and it's gathered by Flecken inside the 6-yard box.
See, that was another example of Jensen having to come over from a more central position, tucked in on that left-hand side, used to playing in a 3 in there where he's actually be dragged over to more or less be a left midfielder, left back, which he doesn't really want to do. And Ben Mead's the same when he's coming out. He's coming out late and doesn't really want to be out there.
33 minutes gone, West Ham 2, Brentford 1, in a very expansive first 33 minutes that we've seen on TalkSport. Both sides look very open defensively here, Brentford in particular. There may well be further goals to come tonight on TalkSport. Coventry 3, Maidstone 0 remains the latest score in the 5th round of the FA Cup. So the National League South team are heading out to their championship opponents. Coventry, the 1987 FA Cup winners, and there's commentary right now on TalkSport 2. All live football tomorrow night. TalkSport 2, the Lionesses against Italy, then Blackburn against Newcastle in the FA Cup on TalkSport. We'll bring you Luton against Manchester City. All of that to come, and as I say, we've got our free and easy to download app, so that's the way you can stay across everything that you need to stay across. Swipe between both stations at your leisure. Brentford have it now with the goalkeeper Flecken. Gets it back from Jensen, who is under pressure from Souček. Flecken aiming to steer it square to Ben Mee. Brentford trying to play through the defensive third, but Mee with a very poor pass that had nothing behind it, straight out of play for a throw. Taken quickly by Soufal. Bit of juggling by Kudus with the white boots on, and he scampers away from Onyeka and lofts it back to the halfway line.
Yeah, just starting to control the game again, West Ham, pinning them back. Struggling a bit to get out, Brentford.
Cleared away by Zanka. Little dink forward to Jensen, and Jensen straight out of play. Sloppy on the ball, Brentford, and David Moyes applauds, standing alone inside his technical area. I was watching him, watching the warm-ups before the game, and a long conversation with the technical director, Tim Steidton. Watching the West Ham players going through their warm-ups and in conversation before the game started. Paquetá driving down the left here for West Ham United. Emerson whips in the cross, headed away up the edge of the penalty area, and Brentford will recycle possession now with Jensen forward to Tony. Tony just shy of halfway, and Mope with a good ball down the right-hand side. Lewis Potter herring after it, beaten to it by the robust sliding tackle of Mavropanos. 2-1 to West Ham against Brentford here. And Brentford are on the attack again. Tony trying to pull it back. The cross hit the heel of Zuma, and it's scooped away by Souček high up towards Bowen on the halfway line. Bowen can't get himself on the ball.
Quick throw from Lewis Potter. Tony should have done better with that. Again, it was Lewis Potter losing Emerson. In down, switched off, ran in off him, in behind him. Zanka was inside, so he got in, ball into the box. cannot afford to keep letting your fullback in.
Okay, late run down the inside right channel and blocked off by Zuma. Fairly, says the referee. The loose ball has come to Lewis Potter, who crosses in towards Tony. Good header away by Mavropanos. It drops down to Jensen. Jensen caught on the penalty area. He twists, he turns, he dinks it in above Emerson. Chested down by Souček very calmly into the gloves of Areola. And Areola thunders the ball upfield. High towards Bowen, beaten in the air by Aya. But the loose ball is dropped to Kudus. Kudus skips away from Norgard. Lovely dancing feet from Kudus. Driving towards the edge of the box and a low shot, which is eventually dragged wide of goal. He was quite a long way out there, Mohamed Kudus, but it's those quick feet that the West Ham fans know and love.
Well, it was a good break, actually. I'm not sure why the keeper's trying to... Well, I mean, he's trying to get Bowen in, but Kudus was one-on-one with me. That was the ball, but it ended up in the middle of the park, and he's got great feet. Skips by one or two, tries a long range on his left foot, drags it. But nice and positive. He's been bright, Kudus.
And he certainly loves life at London Stadium. 9 of his 10 West Ham goals have come here on home turf. West Ham 2, Brentford 1. It remains. We'll give you the latest odds from Ladbrokes in just a moment. Brentford on the attack though with Jensen. 30 yards out, dead centre, shoots, and it's blocked by Souček. The ball rebounds towards halfway. Aya under pressure from Bowen. Nudges it to his right, and and then infield from Region from the midway point of the West Ham half. A careless pass under hit. Initially intercepted by Souček and chipped forward by Mavropanos towards halfway. Run back by and somehow has threaded the ball all the way up the left-hand touchline, and it stayed in play, and then Tony wasn't able to find Mope.
He's got to do better there, Tony. It's 2 or 3 times now. First time I've seen him a little bit sloppy. He's got to get the team up the pitch, keep the ball.
And Kudus again, driving in field away from Jensen. Ball sticks to his feet like glue, and he's in this sort of mood. Now Ward-Prowse out to the far side, the left, and Paquetá drives in field. Emerson is on the overlap, square to Ward-Prowse again, back out wide to Emerson, and now Paquetá once more trying to dictate play from the corner of the penalty area into Bowen. Little touch to Ward-Prowse, reverse ball towards Bowen on the left hand edge of the penalty area, steered into touch by Aya, out of play for a Brentford throw in front of that huge Billy Bond stand on the far side.
Switches on every single time. They're just not working it out, West Ham. Little quick passes in and then out to the right back. Nobody on him.
Coventry 3, Maidstone 0 at half time in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Live commentary of the second half will be on TalkSport 2. Here come West Ham. So far back to the halfway line, and Mavropanos takes it in his stride. He's about 20 yards into the Brentford half now. Kudus at walking pace back to Zuma. Those latest odds: West Ham 5-2 on to win, Brentford 7-1, and the draw 13-4. That is all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+, begambleaware.org. Forward by Mavropanos on the diagonal, crossfield towards the left, headed away by Zanka for Brentford now.
He's done well, Mavropanos. A couple of really important headers from good crosses. That tackle he made over there, he's done all right. Especially playing against Tony. He's well concentrated, looks well up for the fight.
Back in the side tonight, Mavropanos, after being named on the bench for the last 3 games, including West Ham's 2-0 defeat away at Nottingham Forest on the 17th of February. Prior to that, the 6-0 hammering at us here against Arsenal.
I saw him play when they played at Arsenal. He was outstanding when they won.
He scored that day, didn't he? It was a brilliant performance. You know, Danny, they haven't won since then. That's how long it's been. And what a victory that was. They lead 2-1 tonight.
He's offside.
And Souček down by the corner flag. Flag has stayed down here. Aya tracking him all the way. And Souček has threaded it back along the left-hand touchline, kept in play by Paquetá, so no sense that the assistant was letting the play finish.
Well, don't mind. I mean, if it's fractional, they're told to keep their flag down anyway, which is the right thing to do.
We didn't see that yesterday, did we? The VAR decisions in the League Cup final at either end at one stage. Sterling ruled out Van Dijk.
We're having a positive evening. Things were going so well.
You were until. Free kick to West Ham. Far side the left, and it's about 15-20 yards into the Brentford half. Brentford have got a long line of sky blue shirts back to defend this, about 5 yards up from the edge of the penalty area, so trying to hold the line as high as they possibly can. Of course, it's Ward-Prowse over it, but he's played it square. Everybody was expecting the ball into the box, and Paquetá's knocked it wide to the left at Emerson. Emerson corner of the area, crosses, headed goalwards by Souček. He's so often the obvious target, and the looping header goes over the top. 2-1 West Ham. We've got 4 minutes of the first half to go.
It's basics again, overload. How can you sit off someone that far when they're on? They're 15 yards from goal, from the line, touch line. Free cross. You've got to put pressure on the ball. It's just simple stuff.
It was 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, wasn't it?
Well, it's a quick free kick that they weren't expecting. And that's what I'm talking about. And sometimes switching off and not being prepared. They're the things the top players don't do. They're always switched on.
David Moyes now taking notes on the near side touchline. Brentford 2-1 down. Here is me. Remember, they've beaten West Ham on all 5 previous occasions they've faced them, including earlier this season. A flick by Souček up the middle towards Bowen, headed away by Norgard. Bowen is on a hat-trick. Brentford though on the break with Jensen. Lip of the centre circle, just inside his own half. Square to the right and Zanka. Forward quickly on the angle to Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter diligently pops it back to Norgard, who's sitting the deepest of the midfield players. He's a threat from set plays as well. And Norgard, whenever they get the opportunity, Brentford. Little touch from Onyeka, held up the play well, and now Tony wide to the near side and Reguilon. Reguilon thinks about a cross, held up by Sofal. Back it goes to Jensen, plenty forward here for Brentford now. Me, 25 yards out. Floats it forward to Lewis Potter. Back out wide to the near side and Reguilon to cross again. Off the back of Sofal. Brentford building well as they win a throw.
Better, yeah, nice and patient. Get some possession in the opposition half. Get yourself up the pitch. Have a breather with the ball.
And this is deep inside West Ham territory. West Ham have got almost everybody back inside the 18-yard box. In fact, everybody is back, including Kudus and Bowen. It's going to be one of those long throws again from Jensen. 2.5 minutes of normal time to go in the first half. Jensen with a long throw towards the near post and Ayer again. And Ayer got the initial touch under pressure from Sofal, but could only divert it well wide. And so some of the West Ham fans are leaving their seats to head to the concourse areas ahead of half-time. It is relatively chilly tonight in East London. And so David Moyes having words with Kevin Nolan, one of his assistants, on the near side touchline. I wonder what they're talking about.
I think he'll be reasonably content. He'll be disappointed with the goal, of course, but the start of the game, they were great. The energy was good. They got the crowd up, and now they're leading. They can go in half-time leading. He'd have taken that before, tweak a few things, work on a couple of little bits. He can be reasonably pleased with his team's first half performance. They've been the better team.
And they look like that they can score again.
Yeah, they do.
Here is Ayer for Brentford, square to Zanka. Credit to Brentford actually for not folding in the game. 2-0 down after 7 minutes.
Well, they've been in this league a while now, and they've got some good players.
Yep.
And you've got to just stay in it, compose yourself, get on the ball, get some passes, and just try and work the ball and get yourself back. And they did it well.
They've never really felt under great threat of relegation from the Premier League almost at any time since they were promoted, which is credit again to Thomas Frank and his players. Emerson's gone down on the far side of the field, and
Zanka's struggled a bit over that side as well. He doesn't look particularly comfortable.
It's more a right-sided centre-half, isn't it?
Yeah.
You feel than an orthodox right-back.
Yeah.
Now this free kick is almost exactly where the one from a couple of moments was, midway inside the Brentford half, right on that far side left touchline. And they've got the cover on now for the short ball down the left wing.
Well, it's still 3v2 out there, but Jensen's ready to go. Yeah, he's ready to leave the pack and make it the 3v3, I think. But I don't think they'll be playing this one short.
Free kick whipped in by Ward-Prowse this time, and stretching is Bowen on the volley, diverts it wide, but the flag was up anyway. Souček has ended up on the turf. Sorry, it was Souček, stretching as much as he possibly could, connected with it, but sent it skywards and over. It wouldn't have counted anyway.
He's just off. It's the right decision. Good line from Brentford. Brave line. I think they're too high. I think you're asking for trouble when you've got that higher line.
We've had the first 45 minutes. There'll be 3 added at the end of the first half here at London Stadium. Quite a few empty seats with those West Ham fans heading to the vast concourse areas now. It's quite a walk depending on where you're sitting in the stadium. They lead Brentford by 2-1 here on TalkSport. The ball is now at the feet of Reguilon. He strokes it to his left, and Tony down by the near side of the field, and he's fouled by a retreating Kudus, and that's a free kick to Brentford.
Clever. Stepped across him, waited for the contact. Clever from Tony. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a dangerous area, this free kick as well. Just about level with the edge of the 18-yard box, and that allows Brentford to send forward those with great aerial ability. Aya and Me and Zanka and Norgard, Tony of course, Mope's lurky as well. Just about everybody forward and everyone back for West Ham United. On the near side of the field, it's surely going to be Reguilon to take it. Lewis Potter is a couple of yards away. 2-1 to West Ham. A minute through 3 added in the first half. Locked it in by Reguilon, headed away. It'll drop towards the edge of the penalty area where Jensen gets the touch. Hooked into the box by Mope. Tony could be clear.
Oh,
Tony's fired it wide.
Offside.
And the flag was up anyway. Brentford actually looked towards the fourth official. They felt there was a foul on Tony, but he lashed it wide under pressure. Wouldn't have counted anyway, offside.
Looked tight, that one. It was a great ball in from Reguilon, a brilliant header out. I think it was Souček. And it gets recycled. Little ball in from Mope. Yeah, maybe.
Just half a yard or so. Almost the back leg of Tony. Where Zuma was standing, Tony under pressure, couldn't beat the goalkeeper anyway. And for West Ham, that might just about be enough to send them through to half-time into the lead. West Ham, who would go 8th with a victory tonight, behind Brighton and Hove Albion in 7th on goal difference. West Ham 2, Brentford 1 is the score here at London Stadium. Kudus again, trying to wriggle away down the near side the right. Always such a tricky opponent. Reguilon made the tackle at the expense of a West Ham throw. Souček wanted to get on with it quickly, but it's been left to Sofal to come forward. And David Moyes stands poised to turn back towards the tunnel for half-time. There are about 35 seconds of stoppage time to go. They've waved Zuma forward from the back. Souček, we know, can be so threatening with his height. Paquetá is at the back post. Long throw from Sofal towards Zuma, who couldn't get a touch on it. Cleared away by Lewis Potter, not very far. Miscue though by Ward-Prowse, who then steps in to win it back. Important tackle that from Ward-Prowse. Then sliding in his knee in front of Paquetá. Ward-Prowse has beaten Onyeka to the ball. On the far side, the West Ham left. And Ward-Prowse with great tenacity and diligence there, having initially lost the ball to just stop a potential Brentford counter.
Absolutely, yeah. I was blown the half-time whistle.
That is it. Ending a very entertaining first half, and a first half littered with early goals, which was probably the least we expected, but certainly what David Moyes would have been hoping for. West Ham lead by 2-1 at half-time. The first 2 goals both scored by Jared Bowen, with Brentford asleep defensively. Bowen didn't mind though. 2 good finishes to give West Ham a very commanding advantage. At that stage, it looked like they really could run Brentford ragged, but Neil Mope, who has a great record at London Stadium, stepped in to pull one back on the slide into the roof of the net beyond Areola, and since then it's been a much more even encounter. The London derby at the break on TalkSport's game night. Half-time, West Ham 2, Brentford 1. West Ham get the second half underway, and a high ball from Mavropanos is brought down out of the air by Me. West Ham in their claret with blue sleeves, claret shorts and claret socks, with blue hoops, playing from right to left towards the Sir Bobby Moore end of the ground, and Brentford in their sky blue shirts, dark blue shorts and sky blue socks, playing from left to right towards the Sir Trevor Brooking stand, which is where the away fans are. West Ham, who went 2-0 up very early on through 2 Jared Bowen goals, but Neil Mope pulling one back for Brentford, and now we have a game on our hands, live on TalkSport, as Paquetá is felled. Mope on the retreat caught him, and that's a free kick to West Ham United. No changes at half-time for either team, so West Ham have Areola in goal, Sofal, Zuma, Mavropanos and Emerson, Souček and Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Paquetá and Kudus in support of Bowen. For Brentford, Flecken the goalkeeper, Zanka, Aya, Me and Reguilon, Lewis Potter, Norgard, Onyeka and Jensen, Tony and Mope up front.
Don't like seeing that, what I've just seen on the replay.
Not a good tackle.
No, he didn't touch him. Complete dive.
Paquetá winning the free kick.
Yeah, but pretending, jumping, screaming.
And Ward-Prowse is going to whip the free kick in dangerously, and the referee had spotted another foul, and maybe a bit of poetic justice there as Brentford get a free kick themselves.
Absolutely. I know he's not the only one, Paquetá. There's lots of players who do it, but there's no contact. So to jump and actually express pain is bizarre. Mopai's having another. Kevin Nolan and Mopai having a go there.
Would you believe he's moving okay now? The ball is bouncing up and down on the halfway line where it's retrieved by Onyeka. Surges up the middle for Brentford. He's midway inside the West Ham half. He's tapped it onto Mopai, who's lofted it cleverly wide first time to the near side, and Lewis Potter. Plenty of time to whip in the cross just over the head of Tony. Clattered away by Soufal. And West Ham on the back foot here defensively early in the second half. 2 minutes into it.
Ben Mee's done. His hand, I think he's signalled to the bench to come off.
You're right, he's gone down off the ball, so he'll have to be replaced. West Ham, meanwhile, as Mee barely limps to his feet. Referee has stopped the game, Simon Hooper. Mee goes back down. Brentford going to have to make a change. West Ham 2, Brentford 1. 2.5 minutes into the second half. Not the start that Thomas Frank would have wanted here.
No, but it was a great ball in, actually, from Lewis Potter. And Tony nearly got on the end of it. It was a superb cross. Good defending again.
He's not really had his chance, has he, tonight, so far, Tony? That one really. Moment in front of goal. Well, he was involved in the goal for Mopai that got Brentford back into the game. 2 physios now coming across to treat Ben Mee, as you heard, into the second half in the FA Cup 5th round. Coventry 3, Maidstone United of the National League South 0. Tomorrow we'll be with the Lionesses up against Italy on TalkSport 2. That's followed by Blackburn against Newcastle in the FA Cup. Luton against Manchester City on TalkSport. Wednesday, Chelsea against Leeds and Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. Both those games live on the network. And then this weekend, West Brom against Coventry on Friday night, Huddersfield against Leeds on Saturday, Tottenham against Crystal Palace. Best way to be across all the action is to download our app. It's free and easy to download, and you can swipe between the 2 stations at your leisure. They're treating me here, but they're going to have to make at least 1 change now, Brentford.
Looks like they're making 2 for some reason.
Well, Collins is, well, he looked like he was getting stripped and ready to come on. Nathan Collins, he's put that rather garish training top back on.
Yeah.
That top that you don't love, Danny. Lots of yellow.
Do you know what I was just saying on a more serious note? We were seeing the replays of the half-time incident with Kevin Nolan from West Ham and Mopai. More naughtiness going on there as the players came out, I think it was.
There was an altercation between Kevin Nolan, Neil Mopai and Zanka at the very top of the tunnel. And we'll keep an eye on any news of any potential further repercussions of that, as Vitaly Janelt is stripped and ready to come on now for Brentford, and he's just been given the training tops. They're going to try and carry on with Mee, who, having been sat down and looked certain to come off the field, is now waiting to come back on. Brentford temporarily down to 10 men. West Ham 2, Brentford 1 on TalkSport. Early in the second half at London Stadium on a chilly evening with the floodlights on. It's with Emerson near side, wide to the left, and Paquetá meanders infield, faced up by a wall of defenders, floated into the box towards Bowen. He nods it down cleverly, cleared away by Reguilon in the nick of time before Kudus could get there.
Great ball from Paquetá, that clever little deft little chip.
And just evading the reach of Mohamed Kudus as Mee comes back onto the field. So Brentford restored to their full complement of 11, though I'm sure they'll keep an eye on it.
To be honest, it might do him a favour, because he's uncomfortable in that role tonight. Doesn't look comfortable. I mean, he's struggling a bit with the injury, but that kind of, am I left back, am I a centre back, when do I go out? They need to do a bit more work on this formation, I think.
They haven't looked comfortable defensively since the very start. 2 Jarrod Bowen goals inside the first 6.5 minutes for West Ham United. Neil Mopai for Brentford. Header from Mopai towards Tony. He's about 35 yards from goal. His first touch is heavy. That allows Zuma to stretch and clear high up into the air. Not a particularly effective clearance from Zuma wearing gloves. It certainly didn't go far. Brentford have possession again with Lewis Potter driving forward on the near side of the right. Great ball in towards Tony, who flung his head at it. Couldn't quite reach it on the dive, and it bounces behind for a goal kick. What a cross from keen Lewis Potter.
Well, that's 2 crosses of great confidence. Really got good pace and whip and dip on it. I actually initially thought that I think he should do better, but I think the ball moves. He's got that much purchase on it. Yeah, I think it moves in the air. It's a really unusual technique to hit across. It's not really a traditional bending ball with Biz. It's got a little bit of everything on. Brilliant cross.
I'll encourage the 3,000 or so Brentford fans who've made the trip from West London as the side from East London win a free kick here. West Ham United looking for their first win of this calendar year, having failed to win in their last 8 matches in all competitions since beating Arsenal on the 28th of December. Zanka with a very high boot, the challenge on Paquetá.
He's held his pace and he kicked him in the chest. Oh, what is going on with some of these players?
It was a poor challenge though.
It was, and it was a foul, so hold your chest. He did go and hold his chest 10 seconds later because he must have thought, oh no, the cameras will see it.
And they did.
Well, I don't understand the mentality. Grown men.
Kudus juggling the ball on the far side for West Ham after Zuma ballooned it into his path, and then Souček is tripped by Reguilón way on that far side of the field.
He's got to be careful, you know, he's on a yellow.
And the West Ham fans know that, and some of them chanting off in the direction of Reguilón on loan from Tottenham Hotspur. Free kick to West Ham in the right wing position, dangerous position this, with Ward-Prowse on the ball. We're 8 minutes into the second half and West Ham lead by 2-1.
It's not even close to a yellow card. I don't think he helps it by the dramatic fist in mouth and apprehension in his face. Gives the ref something to think about.
Nervy look from Sergio Reguilón. It will be Ward-Prowse to take the free kick, as you'd expect. Zuma and Mavropanos both forward here. Whipped in by James Ward-Prowse towards the near post. Bowen got the initial touch. The ball loops high up into the air. Bowen trying to keep it in play, and I think he tried to knock it off Jensen, but it didn't work. It's gone behind for a goal kick to Brentford at the Bobby Moore end of the stadium. And now Brentford look to play out of defence with Ayer, the big centre half. Forward towards Tony down the middle. Tony's eluded the initial challenge of Souček in the middle of midfield, and now the ball is back with West Ham on the near side, the left, given away by Emerson with a square pass behind Paquetá, straight to Tony, who quickly feeds Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter darts infield from the near side, the right. He's got pace to burn. Lewis Potter inside the penalty area, trying to cut it back. Alvarez was there to stop him in his tracks.
Positive again from Lewis Potter, just the final bit. Got into a great position to put a decent ball and just kind of miskicked it a little bit, but nice and positive.
And Lewis Potter again in the right wing position. He's played a low ball infield towards Tony. Tony wasn't expecting that, but his anticipation should be better. Miscontrolled it. West Ham on the counter. Heavy touch from Kudus, sliding in his knee. He is fighting fit again now, although he does limp away a bit gingerly after that robust sliding challenge. You heard the Brentford fans chanting his name momentarily there.
He's a tough lad, to be fair to him. He'd have to be really badly hurt, wouldn't he, to come off. He is limping a bit, yeah, but he got there for that tackle.
He has had some injuries this season, Ben Mee. He only missed one Premier League game from the start last season, the former Burnley centre-half. David Moyes up to the edge of the technical area, issuing instructions from the near side of the field. There's a big club crest right behind him, big claret carpet between the stands and the field of play where the old Olympics track would have been, of course. And a throw to Brentford on the halfway line, which Lewis Potter will take back into his own half, and Zanka. West Ham 2, Brentford 1. You're with Talk Sport, live and exclusive.
Throw from Lewis Potter. He's thrown it back to Zanka, who's got men pressing him, who then has to go to another defender who've got people pressing him, and they end up nearly on the back foot. It's just sometimes put your teammates in problems. No need. He didn't need to take the throw. Go higher, play your right wing position, let the right side and fullback come. Let Zanka come and take the throw and get your team up the pitch.
Oh, a bit lucky there, weren't they, Brentford? And some West Ham fans still coming back to their seats for the second half. Fully 10 minutes into it. Noise from the Bobby Moore end away to our left. West Ham playing from right to left in the second half, and they're on the ball with Emerson. Poor pass first time, straight to Norgard. Norgard quickly up the middle to Tony. Neat layoff to the right hand side. Keen Lewis Potter will whip in the cross. Cleared away by Mavropanos. It'll drop down to Jensen. Jensen nods it hopefully into the penalty area. Thumping header away by Kurt Zuma for West Ham. Back to the halfway line, but Brentford enjoying much more possession now.
Better from Tony, nice touch, and again down this right hand side. Lewis Potter causing a few problems. Good defending again from Mavropanos, wasn't it? Right in the right position again. He's doing really well this evening, I think.
He's been excellent, hasn't he? There is a nervousness about West Ham now. Here is Lewis Potter, scampering infield, low deflected shot is easy for Areola to save. Now, are you not happy with him there?
Just a poor decision. 28 yards, maybe 30 out. On his weaker foot, men in front of him. Just keep working it, keep the pressure on, keep working them.
Danny Murphy with us for game night on a Monday night, and we'll be at Bramall Lane this time next week for Sheffield United against Arsenal, live on TalkSport. Headed downfield by Souček, straight into the path of Bowen on a hat-trick, driving forward, lays it left towards Paquetá. Paquetá didn't have the conviction to reach it before Norgard, and now Brentford maybe can counter with Lewis Potter, who steps on the ball on the halfway line, through the legs of Ward-Prowse to Onyeka.
Oh, nice.
Onyeka jumps over the challenge of Emerson, and then is bundled over, it looked like, by Ward-Prowse. Brentford fans are furious. Neither the referee nor the assistant, who's right next to it, think it's a free kick. West Ham still have the ball, leading 2-1. Oh, Souček could turn into trouble. Back to the goalkeeper Areola, had to hammer it clear with Jensen right at his back.
Good pressing from Brentford. Caused their own problems, West Ham there. Should have had a free kick though previously to that, Brentford.
And Brentford have got it back again in the right wing position. It's Onyeka, corner of the box. He's laid it square into the middle of the park. The shot from Reguilon is sliced behind, bar deflection.
Didn't get out of his feet. Didn't get out of his feet. It's the right thing, but your touch has got to be really crisp and sharp so you can smack. Just got it stuck under his feet. You've got to get it out your feet so you can get the power.
Last scored in the English game, Sergio Reguilon for Tottenham in March of 2022. For the Brentford fans, you can hear the roar of the away fans. Away to the right-hand side, it's a corner to them as they seek an equaliser here. They were 2-0 down very early on in the game, then Mopé replied for them, and now they look to bring themselves level here. And they
are, spell for them.
Well, they're crowding the goalkeeper, aren't they, Danny?
Yeah, it's a good spell for them.
Right in front of Areola, Zanka is standing almost on the toes of the goalkeeper. Jensen will whip this in right-footed, and Ayer is all alone on the 6-yard box. It's whipped in towards the near post, headed away, I think, by Paquetá. Souček was up there too. And then hammered up into the air by Sofa, high towards the halfway line. Nodded downfield by Norgard for Brentford, and now it's one back by Tony. Tony floats the ball high towards the edge of the box. Good header away by Mavropanos again. He seemed to stretch a few extra inches there as Alvarez slides in for West Ham, and they know they're really in a game now. It was never going to be comfortable for them, you feel, even despite going 2-0 up early on. At one stage it looked like they could run away with it.
It was comfortable at 2-0. I thought it was going to be an absolute pounding, but the reality was that Brentford composed themselves, didn't they?
And now Brentford do look the better side. Mavropanos gets in front of Mopé this time, down by the corner flag. Mavropanos chips the ball cleverly upfield, but it's Ayer to win the ball in the air above Bowen. Hooked downfield by Kudus, way too far in front of Bowen, and Zanka will roll it back to the goalkeeper Fleck. And the thing with Brentford that you do feel, Danny, is that they are vulnerable to the West Ham attack.
Yeah, they are. It's a new system. They've got some gaps, some little teething problems with this. When I say new, they haven't played it for a while anyway, and they've got personnel missing, but they've composed themselves really well to get back in this game. I thought they were done early on.
An hour gone, West Ham 2, Brentford 1. They are going to bring on Collins very shortly here. Brentford, I would think it will be for me, who's clearly struggling, and he's gone down again. Thomas Frank says, come on, let's go. Nathan Collins ready to come onto the field. Not had necessarily an easy first season at the club, the £23 million signing in the summer from Wolves.
No, he's had some good mixed bag in it for him.
So here comes me, trudging off the pitch, and he's replaced by Collins. And what has been a really fascinating London derby so far. Of course, we've not seen many meetings. The history between these two clubs is pretty limited, and it's been very successful so far for Brentford. Won all 5 previous meetings in the Premier League between these two. But it's West Ham who lead on the night so far tonight by 2-1 on TalkSport. With Now, don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like West Ham against Brentford live right now, contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Throw-in taken by Emerson, who can't get the ball back from Bowen, and then Paquetá beats Lewis Potter in a 50-50, and he gets the return pass from Bowen in a very tight area near side of the field, infield toward Prowse. Couldn't quite flick it back to Bowen again. West Ham not quite incisive enough, though the initial build-up play looked promising. Onyeka just holds up the play, slows the tempo down slightly. Wide to Tony. Tony floats the ball high towards Lewis Potter. He's chested it down in the area. He tried to hook it over the shoulder of Mavropanos. It's collected by Alphonse Areola.
Lovely run from Lewis Potter. Tony found him again. Just didn't have an awareness of quite where he was. Mavropanos covering again.
Sports Bar will be with you on Talk Sport once we're done here. 03717223344 to speak to Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara. Great ball out to the right by Alvarez to find Kudus. He's running at the defender. Kudus twists and turns and crosses. Deflected behind off Collins. His first real involvement in the game, and he had to be quick and he had to be alert as West Ham win and what is their first corner of the night.
Well, it's good defending. They doubled up on him, working together. You could see him being talked to. I think it was, don't know if it was Jensen or Reguilon, but the reality was there was nowhere for him to go. It was good.
And it's Bowen who's going to deliver this time. He'll be left-footed and in-swinging. The West Ham fans in the lower tier behind the goal are on their feet. West Ham lead it 2-1. In by Bowen towards the near post, in towards Zuma. Good header away by Ayer through a crowd. Now it drops on the edge of the box and it's flicked forward by Jensen for Brentford towards Tony. 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Tony beaten to it by the industrious Emerson. Emerson on the near side, the left. All left foot. Emerson as he darts into a beyond 2 and 3 in blue. Into a central position, slows the game down and plays it back to Zuma. Zuma's square ball to Sofal, quickly feeding Kudus, and Kudus is straight away on the drive into the penalty area again. Angler's against him, he's dinked it in. Bowen! That's not what he wanted! Jared Bowen's hat-trick goal! He's back, and so are West Ham United. What a piece of play from Mohamed Kudus. The quick feet and dexterity, and he dinked it in. Bowen couldn't miss. Point blank range with a header. West Ham 3, Brentford 1, and Bowen has a hat-trick.
Magic feet, wasn't it, from Kudus? Down our right hand side again. We said it's been a problem. And when he does his little bit of skill and starts running at you, can he pick out the right man? Can he produce that bit of magic? Oh, what a ball that is. He kind of scoops it. He knows where Bowen is. On his left foot, he locks up, little scoop right in the middle. He's run off the back of Ageo, isn't it?
Zanka maybe. Either way,
yeah, or through the middle of both of them. But the reality is that's a hat-trick for a man who knows how to finish.
And that cross, Danny, you're right. Just the deftest of touches, feather-like touch from Kudus.
High quality, that.
Yeah, West Ham have attacked really well in the game. And they lead 3-1 now, so their 2-goal advantage is re-established. And they're heading up to 8th in the Premier League table, as has been the case virtually since the start of the game. And Brentford now, you feel, unless there's a quick response, may really struggle to get back into the game, despite having arguably had the better of it, certainly early on in the second half.
Yeah, they've been dangerous. They've shown some good side. It's goals change games, don't they? Yeah. We know, we've said that a million times. You can be having a good spell and all of a sudden one bit of magic the other end, one bit of brilliance from a wonderful player. He's not been in his best actually recently, Kudus, but that's what the fans love about him.
And so Bowen, who has seen his goal drought in the Premier League come to an end, hadn't scored in 7 in the top flight since the win here against Manchester United, is now up to 17 goals for the season.
It's good going, so good.
And that's across all competitions, but it is, as you say, a tremendous talent. He's really enjoying being played through the middle. Now then, Brentford with Mopé. Good ball out to the left-hand side, and Sergio Reguilon. Reguilon pulls it back on Onyeka!
Oh,
what a save by Areola! Onyeka was curling that towards the bottom corner, and Areola plunged to his right to claw it behind somehow.
It's a good move from Brentford down that left. Reguilon puts in a super ball, and Onyeka comes flying to near post. What a save that is. Moves his feet brilliantly, get down to his right hand side, because that would have been game on again.
Areola not been tested all that much.
No.
Flash of green as the goalkeeper palmed that away. Corner On the far side for Brentford, Jensen will take it, a right-footed in-swinger. Again, a cluster of players in and around the goalkeeper in sky blue. Collins and Mopé almost on the goal line. Zanka is there as well. Of course, Tony and Ayer and Norgard. It'll be drifted in by Jensen towards the 6-yard box. Good header away by Souček this time. Back in by Matthias Jensen for Brentford. And then, so foul with the challenge. And no penalty given by the referee, and there is frustration in the Brentford ranks. So foul on Mopé. Simon Hooper had a look at it, said no penalty, and West Ham were furious with the Brentford player for going to ground what they felt was too easily. And on the benches there were words being exchanged as well. Kevin Nolan again with Thomas Frank. Not happy. Kevin Nolan is pointing, and now he's trying to get towards the Brentford bench, and the fourth official has to get involved to hold him back. Thomas Frank is finger wagging as well. Real disagreement between Kevin Nolan, the West Ham United assistant, and Thomas Frank right in front of us at the base of the main stand, and the bad blood on the field having an effect off it maybe too, Danny Murphy.
It's pathetic behaviour, isn't it? Just pathetic.
Well, Kevin Nolan not for the first time tonight.
Kev's fiery, but his team are 3-1 up. What good does he think it's going to do, having verbals with some handbags with somebody on the opposition dugout?
Well, it just
I love Kev to be. I've known him years, but you know, him and anyone else for that matter, don't get involved. You're winning. He just chill.
Here come West Ham. Ward-Prowse sprints over the halfway line, right of centre. He's got Kudus just in front of him. Ward-Prowse to the corner of the penalty area, finds Kudus again, onto that left foot as he loves to do, cutting infield from the right. Blocked off this time, the attempted cross by Reguilon in the defensive position. West Ham 3, Brentford 1. Into the final quarter of the game. Another good cross, headed away. It'll drop down to Emerson. Urged to shoot, edge of the D. He does! That's magnificent! Emerson into the top corner. He nearly broke the net. He absolutely rifled it beyond Flecken, and that's game over without any question at all. Emerson has waited a year to score a goal, and I tell you what, it was worth the wait. West Ham 4, Brentford 1. We have just seen a very, very special goal.
Beautiful. He's always struck the ball well, Emerson. Really, really nice finish. One of those when you strike it, you know it's in. Comes off the foot so sweetly. He's got too much time to set it up. I mean, he's got all the time in the world. Where's the I mean, Lewis Potter, if he's going to go, you got to go. Have a sprint. Get out there, someone. I'd be fuming with that if I was Thomas Frank. I mean, he's the nearest man. It's a gesture. Beautiful strike, lovely technique, but you have got to press the ball with some intent, or that's going to happen.
The West Ham fans are seeing on the big screens what we're seeing on the monitors. Oohs and ahs, they can't believe it. The venom in that strike, like an arrow from Emerson, right into the postage stamp, the top corner. I mean, Danny, you're right. It's not like he's running onto it. He's got time to stop the ball, take a step back, set himself, and then hammer it. Shouldn't happen really in the Premier League.
Well, it's partly because I don't think it's bad attitude from the players. I think Brentford are just at 6s and 7s defensively because of this system. Very, very few of them look comfortable. You know, I've seen Brentford play quite a lot this season, and many times been really competitive and well organised.
And strangely, they have been competitive in this game for long spells of it anyway.
Yeah, but because they've attacked with some decent urgency.
Here come West Ham again. They're not finished yet, David Moyes' team. Paquetá, crossfield, left to right. Kudus, heavy touch. And he does manage to race back and keep the ball in play on the far side, the right. So 4-1 to West Ham with 20 minutes to go. Emerson with his first goal since February of 2023 against his old club Chelsea. And they're going to make 3 changes, Brentford, and it'll be the 3 players who dropped out of the starting 11 before tonight who are going to come on. Roerslev, Janelt and Wissa. Mavropanos steps out of defence with confidence and poise. He lays it square to Ward-Prowse in the centre circle. Loads of space, acres of space down the left and near side for Paquetá. Corner of the penalty area. Infield he goes. He finds Bowen. Bowen on the turn. He tried to shoot his block. Bowen looking for his 4th of the game. And Brentford scramble it clear. And though they look, Brentford, still capable in the game of
They're done.
scoring themselves defensively, they just can't cope.
They can't, no. And even if they got one or even two back, West Ham could score again. They're so wide open. They're a disarray. It's not a lack of effort. It's just they just don't know what to do. And the manager's going to have to take some responsibility because they don't look anywhere like a Brentford side that I've seen. Defensively, I'm talking about.
Norgard, 35 yards out, wide to the corner of the penalty area. Ivan Toney's cross is deflected away. Back to Christian Norgard, touches into the box, and he goes down under the challenge there of Paquetá retreating. Referee says get up, get on with it, and West Ham are straight on the counter. Bowen held up by Iron, and Bowen maybe sensibly just elects to keep possession. West Ham lead 4-1. There is no need to rush for more goals at the moment. 03717 22 33 44 if you're a West Ham fan or a Brentford fan, to have your say on Sports Bar to come. Bowen almost darting beyond Zanka, who stood up firm and was there to win it back. Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara taking your calls on Talk Sport later. It's a statement performance and result this for West Ham. Brentford have now conceded 48 in this Premier League season. Here is Paquetá, the number 10, tries to wriggle beyond Onyeka. Poor challenge, and it squirmed through into the path of Bowen anyway. And the olays from the West Ham fans have started already. David Moyes couldn't have wished for a much better night than this, really, Danny Murphy.
No, it's a bit worrying for Brentford. It's a bit concerning.
How vulnerable are they in the relegation battle, do you think?
I think they'll be okay because they've got Tony and they've got a threat going forward with the likes of Worcester coming back, and probably, I don't know if Mbeumo is going to be back for the end of the season, but defensively they do look all over the place tonight, especially, which is a concern when you concede as many goals as they are at the moment. It's got to be concerning.
The changes that are being made: Roerslev, Visser and Janelt on, and it's Onyeka, Reguilon and Mopé who have all gone off. And Thomas Frank wanted to make the changes just before the fourth goal, but he wasn't able to do so before Emerson's rocket into the top corner. And so the game is surely going to be won by West Ham, who will move, as I say, back up into 8th in the Premier League. Immediate first touch on the near side of the field for Roerslev to head the ball out of play for a West Ham throw.
This is one of those games where if you're playing for Brentford, you keep going past the ref saying, blow up.
Yeah?
Yeah, get it done. Don't have any injury time, for God's sake.
Emerson cornered the penalty area, square toward Prowse. He strikes now from the edge of the D, and that one took a bounce before being gathered by Flecken, who has been unable to do anything about, and couldn't realistically do anything about, any of the 4 goals that he's conceded tonight. And Brentford's next matches at home to Chelsea, away at Arsenal and away at Burnley. That will be a really important game for them.
That is a tough couple of games coming up for them.
And Brentford,
I can't see them winning. I can't see them. I mean, Chelsea can have a bad day, of course, but
just don't know, do you? And you mentioned Mbeumo, by the way, Danny. He'll be back in late March, and they expect Pinnock will come back then as well.
Pinnock's a blow. He's a miss.
We have had a lot of injuries this season, Brentford, at different times, which hasn't helped. Here is Collins, midway inside the West Ham half. I'm forever blowing bubbles, rings around London Stadium, and Collins slides in well on Kudus to win it back. And Lewis Potter, who's now playing in the left wing back position, feeds Wisser. Wisser corner of the penalty area, lays it back to Lewis Potter again. He shoots from 25 yards, and that's straight down the throat of Areola, who's able to make a good save. Coventry 4, Maidstone United 0 in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Fabio Tavares for the championship team. So Coventry, the 1987 FA Cup winners, will be into the quarter-finals. It's been a fantastic run for National League South Maidstone, but it'll come to an end tonight. And more FA Cup commentary tomorrow on the network. Blackburn against Newcastle on 2, Luton against Manchester City here on Talk Sport. And the same thing on Wednesday night, Chelsea against Leeds and Forest against Man United. They're going to bring on Mikel Antonio very shortly, West Ham, and Brentford are going to bring on Mikel Damsgaard. So changes afoot, but it's the West Ham fans, quite a jubilant atmosphere here.
Paquetá.
And here comes Paquetá, and it's been great for David Moyes to have him back fit.
He's been really good, apart from his couple of silly dives.
Yes.
He's a super player. Strong, creative, elegant, great touch. I'd be taking Bowen off.
Well, you want to preserve.
I'd be protecting your top man, your top goal scorer. I know Paquetá's only just come back, so I'd obviously take him off as well, but I'd give Bowen the standing ovation he deserves and keep him fresh.
Well, he's got his hat-trick, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Does he need any more? I'm sure as a player you always want more. Antonio onto the field, and Jared Bowen stays on, having scored a hat-trick. The last player to score a Premier League hat-trick for West Ham was Mikel Antonio. As Brentford tried to hook the ball goalwards, it's over the top though from Zanka. That hat-trick from Mikel Antonio was back in July 2020. That was at Carrow Road against Norwich, when he scored 4 back in the days when games were played behind closed doors. It's West Ham 4, Brentford 1 here. Bowen has 3 of them. We've got 13 minutes of normal time to go on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Let me just confirm as well that Damsgaard has come on for Brentford in place of Jensen, who's gone off. So quite a new look Brentford almost now for the final portion of the game, but it surely won't change anything to do with the result. Tony trying to battle against Mavropanos, and he comes off second best.
It's been outstanding. It's been outstanding.
Quietly he's got on, hasn't he, Mavropanos, and been one of the game's best players. Sweeping ball to the near side, the left by Ward-Prowse. Antonio, the number 9, is in the left wing position here. Drops his shoulder away from Roerslev, lays it back infield, poor ball. This is there to intercept easily in front of Ward-Prowse. 1 or 2 moans and groans from the home fans. Janelt's ball, crossfield for Brentford, intercepted by Emerson, tracking back, and a cushion back header all the way to his goalkeeper.
Can't be any moans and groans tonight, can there?
Shouldn't be, sure.
4-1.
This will get David Moyes back on the winning front, and he's been offered that contract, hasn't he, Danny? He says he'll wait until the end of the season to decide his future. Would his future be at West Ham?
I don't think so.
End of the season, parting of the ways?
I think so, yeah. I can be proud of the job he's done. I think if he stays, then, it only takes a couple of bad games now or negative performances and they turn, and do you want to really manage like that?
Conference League winners last year, of course. West Ham's first major trophy since 1980. Slipped by Areola as he clears high downfield, up towards the right. Towering header away by Collins, jumping much higher than Kudus. Tony holds the ball up for Brentford and cleverly spins away from Mavropanos and chips the ball down the middle towards Wissa, but covering is Alvarez. Sloppy play by Sofal allowed Lewis Potter to step in front of him and regain the ball. And now Damsgaard forward towards Tony in the penalty area. Great control by Tony. Excellent feet as he spins. Left-footed shot is blocked. In the end, he was converged upon by Claret Shirts. 4-1 to West Ham, 11 and a half to go, and now Antonio's on the burst up the left. Here's Ayers sliding in to stop him in his tracks. Suddenly started galloping up the left wing there, Antonio. Having played from the start in the defeat to Nottingham Forest, had a long spell out with his knee injury, of course, did Mikel Antonio before that. But West Ham fans have seen will see a win tonight, and they've been, I think, roundly entertained. Some of the goals have been of terrific quality.
Been lots of positives. Bowen, Mavropanos, players getting fit. The bench looks solid. Competition for places again.
West Ham, as I say, will be back up to 8th in the Premier League if it stays the scoreline in their favour, which surely it will. Flecken's clearance out towards the left-back position for Brentford, and Sofal dived in, didn't make it, ended up on the turf, and Lewis Potter sprints away down the left-hand side. He's run 50 yards here for Brentford towards the edge of the D. Tracking that was Kudus, who just nicked it from underneath his feet.
It was a great track back from Kudus. He saw his mate Sofal had gone too early, and he just kept going, and he kept doing the job. We talked about it earlier. The discipline, even at 4-1. Didn't foul, got himself back into a position enough to put him off. Really good from Kudus.
He's got tremendous pace and energy, seemingly never-ending energy.
Well, they'll be pleased, won't they, because he hasn't been quite himself.
Yep, true.
I mean, he showed some brilliant form early in the season, then obviously off to AFCON. Maybe there's a bit of fatigue there, but he's looked back to his best tonight.
West Ham certainly haven't been themselves. Their run of 8 games without a victory is about to come to an end, having lost the previous 3 in the Premier League coming into today by a combined score of 11-0. Forward by Alvarez to Kudus, 10 yards into Brentford territory. Kudus is such a fun, dynamic player to watch, so able on the ball, but that crossfield pass is brought out of the air by Tony athletically in front of The retreating Emerson now. West Ham 4, Brentford 1. Ladbrokes have the latest odds. Right now you can get the following. Next team to score, West Ham at 5-2. Brentford to score next at 11-4. And no more goals, that's 6-5 on. All thanks to Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. So Coventry City comfortably heading through in the 5th round of the FA Cup on TalkSport 2 tonight. And here on TalkSport in the Premier League, West Ham lead by 4-1 against Brentford. Coventry got a 5th late on against Maidstone to win 5-0. A hat-trick for Ellis Sims and 2 for Fabio Tavares. Bowen over halfway. Great ability to jink beyond 2 challenges. Couldn't quite find Kudus with his pass. And David Moyes, I think, will be really excited about the way that his forward line has been firing tonight. Here come Brentford, though, with Wissa darting up the middle. Wissa edge of the penalty area, has placed it into the bottom corner. He curled it beyond the dive of Areola.
I think that's tight offside, but the linesman hasn't put his flag out. They'll obviously check it.
West Ham were backing off, and Wissa off the bench to curl in what should be a consolation. David Moyes fuming with the assistant. West Ham 4, Brentford 2. Let's see if
he's on.
Look at it again. He is just onside, isn't he?
Soufal played him on the fire. I was looking at the centre backs, but it's the right back who's played him on, I think. You never know. 8 minutes, 9, maybe 10.
VAR is checking for a possible offside against Wissa, but from our angle we've got a little screen in front of us here in the commentary box. He looked just onside, but VAR will have a good look at this one, as I say. And Soufal, from certain angles, certainly looks to be playing Wissa onside. It doesn't seem much of a debate.
No.
We'll see if they do draw the lines. And of course, what the crowd can see are just the words, checking goal, possible offside. They can't see the replays that are being watched by the video assistant, Michael Oliver, and all of that being communicated to Simon Hooper on the field. Well, they've drawn the lines, Danny. It's onside. And the goal stands 4-2 to West Ham. And still waiting for confirmation to get to the screens here at London Stadium, but it has been confirmed by Simon Hooper. Very eventful 83 minutes, and as you say, you never know.
6 goals, lots of good attacking play. Yes, some poor defending, but we've enjoyed it. It's been good. Not over yet.
And a bit of off-field antics at times as well. Those disagreements between
silly
the 2 benches, which I guess at the end of the game, as a player, you forget about, right?
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Here's Norgard, 10 yards shy of halfway. Well, you are right. If Brentford can get another in the next couple of minutes, then the nerves really will start to arrive at London Stadium. Come on, Brentford is the chant from the away sections, 2 separate sections in each of the tiers.
Thing is, if you're going to go away from home, you need to score 3 to even get a point, or 3 or 4. You've got no chance.
Some of the Brentford fans have headed out into the night already, but the vast majority have stayed. Tony's flicked to the halfway line. Mavropanos there to win it back for West Ham. Souček from the centre circle steers it wide to the right, and Kudus very quickly out of the traps, up to the edge of the penalty area, jinking beyond 3 in blue. Kudus lays it backwards to Alvarez. He looks so dangerous running at Collins, does Kudus. He beats him for pace like he beats many for pace every time, but West Ham have lost out. And now here is Damsgaard on the halfway line for Brentford, touches it on to Wissa. Wissa's midway inside the West Ham half. He sprayed it to the left and keen Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter attacking the corner of the penalty area here. Back to Janelt. That's slow the momentum of the attack.
Got to go at him 1-on-1 in the box. Kufal.
Collins has knocked it wide to Röslev. Röslev's cross brought down inside the penalty area by Janelt, only momentarily. Scooped up into the air by Soufal for West Ham. Nervy West Ham defending. They lead 4-2. Wissa shoots from the angle. That's blocked by the sliding Alvarez. Now Antonio's trying to tear forward on the counter, but Zanka steps in front of him to win it back for Brentford, and suddenly with 5 minutes to go, West Ham 4, Brentford 2. There's a slight sense of a bit of jeopardy still left in the game.
Yeah, just felt there. Lewis Potter, Soufal was isolated, 1-on-1. He's tired. Get him in the box. Try and commit him inside the box. You never know.
Damsgaard almost throwing it through towards Wissa. 2 West Ham players slid in to try and block it. It was Emerson who hacked it clear high over the halfway line. It's been a thrilling Monday night football. This time next week on game night on TalkSport, we'll be at Bramall Lane for Sheffield United against Arsenal. Again, that's live and exclusive with us. Before that, lots to come. Might be a
not to the home team.
One-sided game, possibly. We'll see though, Danny. You never know.
I did.
Zanka. Right. Well, we'll hold you to that for next time. Here's Zanka just inside the West Ham half.
If Sheffield United scored 4 against Arsenal next week, I'll give up this job.
Zanka's delivery cleared away by Souček. Alvarez trying to scramble it clear for West Ham. Now it's brought down by Ward-Prowse midway inside his own half, and it needs calm heads, and there's a lot of experience on this field of play for West Ham United now, just to slow the game down. But as I say that, they might catch Brentford on the counter. Forward by Alvarez to Kudus. He's taken it in his stride. He's one-on-one with Collins. He's backing off. Kudus with a rising drive. The angle is against him. It's over the top. 4-2 to West Ham.
He looks sharp, doesn't he? Looks nice and fit. Still able to do the runs. Still able to commit people and try and go past people. He wasn't playing for time there.
Jeff Stelling has been watching tonight from London Stadium, I believe. He'll be back on TalkSport Breakfast tomorrow morning with Ali McCoy to look back on all the night's action and look ahead to the FA Cup football we'll bring you tomorrow on the network. That's from 6 a.m. on TalkSport. Here is Damsgaard for Brentford wearing gloves. Forward to Tony, edge of the box. West Ham with plenty back. And Tony's held it up well.
Why is that, man?
Roerslev looks up, back to Tony. Corner of the penalty area, one with Zuma. He's played it to the right with Roerslev. Roerslev pulls it back. Damsgaard couldn't quite reach it. Tony's there in front of Antonio. Tony trying to burst into the penalty area, and Antonio is there to poke it away. Out of play it goes for a Brentford throw. And Zanka will take it. Brentford finishing stronger. There are 2 balls on the pitch all of a sudden. That's check the momentum. 2.5 minutes of normal time left, and Brentford need 2 more to salvage what would be an incredible point at this stage in the game. Now Damsgaard, middle of midfield. Square pass to Janelt. Janelt, the number 27, is faced up by the claret shirts in front of him. West Ham with everybody back. Brentford really are camped in the West Ham half now, but they've probably left it too late.
Yeah.
Well, Collins went with this ball towards Tony, who couldn't get it under control. Maybe Mavropanos did enough.
Yeah. Do you know why he couldn't get it under control? Because Mavropanos risked trying to get ahead of him to make him try it. So it's been a very cat and mouse a little bit at times with those two, but I think he's done really well as centre half. I mean, Tony's a handful, and he's had some good moments, but considering some of his performances recently, I think Mavropanos has done as well against him as I've seen many.
First start in 4 for Mavropanos tonight.
Well, he won't be leaving him out again for a while if he keeps playing like this.
I wouldn't have thought so. Away at Everton to come for West Ham. Everton, who had that big boost today that we brought you on TalkSport, of course, news of the reduced points deduction, and then they've got the start of their European round of 16 tie in the Europa League. West Ham, the first leg is away at Freiburg. Yellow card for Alvarez. A foul just outside the centre circle, a shade outside. Free kick to Brentford, last minutes of normal time. Now Flecken is going to come forward to just pump this up the middle. The goalkeeper is inside the West Ham half. And it's a very congested area of players in and around the edge of the D as we look at it. All in that central area. Nobody's really peeled wide. And Flecken will just float this forward downfield. Here he goes, the goalkeeper. Chips it high towards the edge of the penalty area, towards Ayer. Great header away by Souček through a crowd. He's so good in the air. Lofted back into the box though, and Zuma was being backed into by Wissa, and that'll be a free kick given initially by the assistant referee.
I think he's given offside there. I didn't see the offside personally, but he's given offside. Because if anything, it was a foul on Wissa.
It'll be a free kick to West Ham regardless. And Thomas Frank next to his assistant Klaus Norgard. He says that it's a constant pressure being a football manager. There aren't spells where it ebbs and flows. It's all the time. But he said before the game that he's confident and optimistic, and his team will start to pick up points. They will stay 5 clear of the drop zones unless they can produce 2 goals in 7 added minutes here at the end on TalkSport, with the sports bar to come very shortly. West Ham 4, Brentford 2. Roerslev over the halfway line, trying to dart away from Jared Bowen. Plays it back now to Zanka. Zanka's crossfield ball into a central position in Norgard. Norgard sitting in between the centre halves almost now. On to Janelt. Janelt looking to play it wide. Instead feeds Tony into a central position now with his back to goal. Tony's poor miscued pass has gone straight to the feet of Bowen. Bowen tears towards the near side touchline, near towards where David Moyes is standing. Then it's scooped long by Emerson. The flick by Antonio. Good header by Antonio to flick it into the path of Bowen, who juggled it over the head of Zanka. He's beyond Röslev, and then Norgard slid in firm but fair to stop that in double quick time. And now Brentford are on the counter, and David Moyes throws his arms up into the air in frustration. Brentford looking for another here in stoppage time. Wissa raining down the right, chipping in the cross, headed away by Mavropanos. We've had a minute of the 7 added, and West Ham are clearly nervous here, trying to see this game out despite leading 4-2, Danny.
Yeah, there's always going to be a bit of anxiety when you haven't won for a while, especially in front of your home fans. Tired legs out there, they've put in a good shift, so many of them.
Röslev corner of the area, whips in the cross, it's behind Tony, it'll reach Collins at the back post, the centre half, plays it backwards to Lewis Potter, midway inside the West Ham half, everybody for West Ham back behind the ball here, bar Jared Bowen, who looks exhausted, whipped into the box by Zanka, towards Collins at the back post, he's brought it down, and he delivers right-footed, headed away by Mavropanos for the umpteenth time in the game. Nearly 2 through 7 added have been played, still over 5 minutes to go. 4-2 West Ham lead Brentford. There are big gaps in the stands now. Plenty have headed out into the evening, but it maybe isn't quite done just yet. Not in the way that we thought it would be at 4-1. There's the noise from the West Ham fans as Bowen retreats to win it back midway inside his own half and quickly feeds Kudus. Kudus is being held there, surely. No free kick given by the referee. Zanka with Kudus. And now Norgard on the halfway line for Brentford, all in blue. Norgard crosses halfway, unopposed really. West Ham again backing off. Norgard just trotted forward there comfortably, and Janelt delivers, and Tony's at the back post. He's chested it down here inside the area, angled very tight. He's being blocked off here, Tony. He's laid it square to Norgard. His shot is deflected and it spirals behind. Janelt wasn't far away from getting a touch on that at close range. Brentford have a corner.
Calm play from Tony, brings it down, plucks it out of the air from the long cross, waits, nice and patient, waits for the right pass. Good defending from Zuma.
4 minutes still remain. Brentford 4-2 down, but they have a corner in stoppage time. On that far side of the field, it's Damsgaard whipping it into the near post. Terrible delivery. Hit away by the first man, Soufal.
I do think they've lost a little bit. They were getting some joy on the right hand side with Lewis Potter, and they switched him to the left, and he hasn't had the same impact. I'm surprised they changed that.
They want to get Ben Johnson onto the field, West Ham, and they will do that now in place of Kudus, whose assist for the hat-trick goal, Danny, I think we feel was one of the moments of the match.
Beautiful. He showed some glimpses tonight, hasn't he, of magical play. He's been a real threat, a real thorn in the side of Brentford.
And he really has got that end product.
He has. He's a game changer, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Off he goes. He's going to take the long walk around the edge of the field. And Johnson, a much more defensive-minded player, onto the field for West Ham United. Though Ben Johnson, we've seen in a couple of games recently play in the wing positions, despite nominally being a full-back. Cousin of Ledley King, Ben Johnson, the former Tottenham and England centre-half. Here is Norgard on halfway. It's 4-2 to West Ham, and just over 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Standing ovation for Kudus as he walks around the field. Cleared upfield by Mavropanos, straight to the Brentford player Zanka. They're all getting up to their feet here, the West Ham fans, to applaud Kudus. That long walk round the edge of the old running track. Here's Röslev for Brentford, delivers right-footed, the defender slipped, Tony's little touch, it could reach Lewis Potter, back post, he gets to a turn ball from Collins, Lewis Potter onto his left side, he wants to get it back onto his favoured right, feeds Collins instead, back to Lewis Potter does dink in the cross now right-footed, Tony climbs, saved by Areola, Röslev over the top, deflected behind after the challenge from Zuma, another great save by Areola, 4-2 to West Ham it remains.
He's made 2 really important saves tonight, hasn't he? That one probably not as good as the other, but still a really crucial save. Great leap, wasn't it, on the back post from Tony over Emerson.
And now Damsgaard delivers the corner again, right-footed, headed away by Bowen this time. There are 90 seconds to go of a very entertaining game. Janelt, a long way out, is tripped as he went to shoot. It's come to Collins, advantage played, wide to Mikkel Damsgaard. Damsgaard, the angle tight, he curls it, tipped up into the air by Areola. Tony on the rebound, he's blocked by Emerson. Well, Brentford really could have scored two late on here.
Yeah.
Areola helps to bail them out again, and then Emerson with the block on Tony, and the corner's taken short and West Ham is sleeping. 4-2 they lead. It's back to Norgard, who delivers right-footed. Header away by Alvarez from inside the West Ham penalty area. David Moyes pacing up and down inside his technical area here. There's 1 minute to go, and Brentford need two more. Roslov's deep ball into the box. Collins is playing like a centre forward now, and he's been out-muscled by Soufal, and then sends Soufal to ground. A free kick to West Ham, and that will probably do it, but Alphonse Areola has had to make three very good saves.
Yeah, he's done well. Still think the pick was the Onyeka one. Yeah, brilliant save. Crucial point.
Well, I suppose if you're Thomas Frank, maybe from an attacking perspective anyway, Danny, you can take things from this game.
Yeah, I don't think late in games when you're losing by a couple and you're throwing everyone forward and trying to make chances, it doesn't really satisfy you too much, because you're just devastated. You're gutted that you're in that position in the first place. It's the defensive part of Brentford's game he's going to be really disappointed with. He knows they can score goals when Tony back in the team and make chances, but you can't be this open and this disjointed and this chaotic. You know, it has looked a really poor defensive display at times. They've been all over the place.
And Tony is brought down by Zuma. We've had the 7 minutes of added time. 4-2 to West Ham United, and the West Ham fans now are calling for the final whistle, which isn't yet forthcoming. Flecken, again the goalkeeper, will step into the West Ham half. Everybody inside the half to our right. Flecken pings the ball high towards the Sir Trevor Brooking end, and towards Collins. It's over his head. It'll be retrieved by Johnson. Johnson forward now to Soufal, and that is the full-time whistle, and West Ham's winless run is at an end. Finally, they have their first victory of 2024, and what has been a thrilling Monday night live on TalkSport. Brentford certainly played their parts, but a defensive capitulation at times from Thomas Frank's team means that they are very much ensconced in the relegation battle. They stay 5 points clear of the drop zone. It's been a bad day for Brentford, who already had dropped a place lower than they started the day after the news surrounding Everton's points deduction earlier on. But for West Ham, a return to winning ways, back up to 8th in the Premier League table. A hat-trick for Jared Bowen, a wonderful goal from Emerson to make it 4. The 2 goals for Brentford scored by Mope and Wissa, but ultimately they were second best. West Ham, meanwhile, well, it's relief for David Moyes more than anything after all the pressure that has afflicted him of late. It has finished West Ham 4, Brentford 2.